What's up guys, there's Cousin here. In this video, we are going to look at Material UI in React. Material UI is a UI library for React. It is really popular. It is used by a lot of people, including myself, and we're going to essentially set it up in a simple React application. This is not going to be a tutorial, right? I didn't plan anything for this. It's been a while since I have used Material UI, and they've made some updates that have broken some things in the way that I knew it. So we are essentially going to be learning about this together. We're going to have a little coding session together and just see how you would go about applying Material UI in your own React application. But before we start, if you haven't joined the Discord, honestly, you are missing out. If you're interested in React, if you want to learn about React, the Discord is a phenomenal resource. So if you want to check it out, I highly encourage it. It is the first link in the description down below. Cool. So let's begin. Let's create our own React app. I'm going to be using Vite for this, which is the fastest way nowadays to build a React application. We're going to call this app Material UI React. We are going to be using React, obviously. We are going to be using TypeScript, of course. And we have our app now, so we can just cd into Material UI and then run npm install to install our dependencies. And then once that is done, we can run our development server. Cool, so our dependencies are installed and now we can do npm run dev. And we should have our app on localhost 5173. So we're just gonna paste this here. And we have our Vite plus React application. First, what I want to do is actually clear all of this because I don't really want this entire UI with the state. So I'm just going to kill this, literally kill all of this, and then just return a div that's going to say hello. And I think that should be it. Kill all of these imports and then refresh Y. npm run dev. I had it running before. And there we go. We have a simple page that says hello. That is beautiful. That is what we want. Let's now go to Material UI and look at the documentation. So this is the main website, the main documentation for Material UI. I'm going to click on Get Started. So now to install this, we're going to go to Installation and we are going to copy this command, which is going to install Material UI and the emotion library, which is what Material UI uses as kind of the styling library backbone for all of its styles. And once that is installed, we can go here and look at usage, and essentially we could just copy this entire code right here, right? We can just go to our, where is it? We can go to our app. We can come here, paste all of this here, and then we need to change this to app, fair enough. And then, because we have double exports, which is fine. We actually want to do it this way, function app. And then we have a button that works, right? It has the Material UI design. You can see here the ripple whenever I click on the button. If I can zoom it a bit more, whenever I click, it kind of tracks where I've clicked and it has a ripple effect on the button. That is a classic Material UI thing, right? Which is great to see. If I want to now style this and put this kind of in the middle of the screen, I think there is a box component. So I'm just going to go here and look at maybe even search box. And then search for box. There you go. A box component is essentially Material UI's version of a div. You can use this and then you can apply the SX prop and you can just get any sort of styles that you want. So we're going to come here. We're going to import box from MUI material box. I think that's it, right? Yep, that should be fine. And then we're going to change this div to a box and we're going to do a box. And then just let's confirm that this works. So we have here, we have a box, everything is fine. If we can come into our code, we're going to do SX and then we're going to say border width 1. That should give a border. No, we need border color red. Interesting. We don't have a box. Why do we not have a box, right? We have a div here that has border width 1 pixel, border color red. We need border style, right? We need border style. And that is going to be solid, I believe. Where's solid? Do we have solid? Yes, we do. Solid. There we go. And this should get our border exactly, right? So the box is a div replacement. It is Material UI's version of a div, and you can style it using this SX prop. Cool. So now that we have this box, I actually want to kind of center this whole thing on the entire page, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this border because we don't need it anymore. And can I do width and then I can do VW? Will that work? No, that doesn't work. Why does that not work? Right, we have width, 100% viewport width, right? That's fine. And then obviously we need to display, flex, and then justify content, and then center, right? And this should align our button in the center just like we have it before, right? So this is really cool. We have a working, I guess, application with Material UI. Now let's look at some other components that we have here, right? So we have a couple of these input components like autocomplete button, which we have used now. We have radio group, rating. What is rating? Rating is like, ooh, so they have components that you can rate and they're like animated, and wow, this actually looks really nice. We might kind of add this. So let's actually implement that. Let's go here and do import rating from MUI material rating. And then what if I just do it like this? Rating. What is it going to ask for? It's going to complain for something. Let's see if I just save it like this, what happens? Ooh, so it works like right off the box, like without no configuration. This is great. What if I give value, I don't know, 8? What's that going to do? 8. So if I do value 8 and I refresh the page, it's going to consider this as like full value. That's fine. If I do value 4, there you go. Okay, so the value can be an integer between 0 and 5 actually. What happens if I do 1.5? Is that going to give me like a half star? No, it's going to round it. Interesting. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to actually make this vertical, right? I want to align this so that it's like one row after another. So what I can do is I can do flex direction, and that's going to be column. I think that's correct. I always get these mixed up. So if I do column here, what happens? Yes, that's what we wanted. And then the width, I actually don't want this to be full width. No, but I actually want margin right, auto, margin left, auto. Actually, that doesn't work. Why does that not work? I essentially want this to have, I understand. Okay, we're going to do something different. This initial box is going to be the container of our entire kind of application. And then within it, we're going to have a container for the form. That way we can style the general box and have everything be at the center. And then the form itself and everything within it, we can apply our own custom styles like all of this flex thing here. So if this box is going to be the main thing, what we want to do is we want to kill this margin here. And then we want to actually do width 100% VW. That's 100% of the viewport width in CSS. That's going to do exactly this, which is what we want. However, we are going to come in and do another box for the actual form in our application. So we're going to put both of these components here inside, and we're going to give SX. We're going to give here width, I don't know, 500 pixels. That should be fine. Pixels, and then let's see what that happens. There you go. And then I want to kill this flex direction here because we don't actually need it. We need to put it here. So we're going to do flex display flex direction is going to be column, right? And then if I do this, there we go. Now I think this is actually a little bit too big because I am really zoomed in. So we can do maybe 300. There you go. Right, so now we have this button here and we have this rating here. And now we can actually kind of style our form. So what I want to do is maybe ask a question to the user. And I know that Material UI has a component for this, which is a typography component. So where is that? There you go. Typography, import typography from material, but actually typography, and then this should be a default export. And then we're going to do typography and then hello. Let's see what that does in our application. There we go. And the beauty with typography is you can do things like variant H1, right? And that's going to give you an H1 tag, right? If we inspect this, you see here we have H1, right? That is exactly what we want. Actually, I just realized that you cannot see these styles here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move them kind of here so that you can see. So we have here H1, and then we have this, all of the style like margin 0, font family, font weight, font size, etc. This all comes in from the typography component in Material UI. So then we can do something like we can ask the user, how would you rate this experience? Because honestly, I'm not really sure what we're actually rating here. Then we can take our rating, we can put it here at the top. And actually what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to have some sort of state for our form, I believe. So we can do const, we're going to put this rating value, set rating value. That's going to be use state, and that's going to be of type number. And then we're not going to give it, actually we're going to give it a value of 0 initially. Actually, no, we're not going to give it any value because we want this to start out as undefined, and only if the user has set a value, then do we want to allow something, right? So here for value, I'm going to do rating value, right? And that should be fine. And then on change, right? We're going to want to do, I guess this is the value, set rating value. And then let's see what this gives us, because value here is a, so we can get the new value from this and we can just discard the event. So what we can do is so that's event and then new, actually I can just do value because it's easier, and then set rating value to value. And TypeScript should not complain. Argument of type number / null. So what's happening here is it's telling us that this value can be either of type number or of type null, right? Which is coming directly from this rating here. Actually, in the documentation, I would assume that if this has no value, if this rating component has no value, then this would be null. So then we have to come into our component and actually change our type here from number to number or null, and then initialize it as null, right? Initially, we did it as undefined because that's what I thought would make a lot of sense, but actually rating value null to match the library makes a lot more sense. This is complaining that we're actually not using this variable. So what we can do is just put an underscore here. That's going to get rid of our error while still allowing us to have this type definition here of the function, which is great. And now if I open the application and actually maybe close this, and actually this is way too big. So instead of H1, we're just going to do like nothing, right? How would you rate this experience? I think if I put it, yes, every time we are clicking, we are now saving the value in our own state, here. And actually we can confirm this by just doing maybe another typography and then doing rating, and then seeing what actually rating value, and seeing what this actually pops up, right? Rating value, now there's nothing, right? But we click something, it's now 3, right? We click something else, it's now 4. If I click again, this component, if you click the same value again, so we select 4, it's 4, you click 4 again, it's going to unset the value, which is great. So we know that now this component works within our state, which is fantastic. Next, what we want to do is maybe add a text input component so that our user can actually give some feedback on this experience. I guess we're now making some sort of like event rating experience where like you've participated in an event, and then based off of that, you're going to review this event, right? So I'm going to kill this thing that we just added here. What I want to do is, first of all, make some space in this button here, do SX, and then margin, actually it's MT, and then it's going to be 1. MT stands for margin top, and 1 is essentially Material UI's kind of way of doing that. This will just make some spacing between this button here, which is what we want. Actually, I want to change this hello world to submit, right? Because we want to actually submit something, and we want to have this disabled, right? So disabled is going to be, first of all, if I do true, you're going to see that it actually changes the design, which is super, super cool. But this is going to be disabled only if the form is incomplete, which means at this point in time, because we only have rating value, it's only going to be disabled if rating value is null. So what we can do is do here const is disabled, rating value is equal to null, right? If rating value is equal to null, then this is going to be true, which means that if we pass it here to disabled, this is only going to be disabled if rating value is null. As soon as I press a rating value, there you go, our form, our button now fully works. Cool. So now let's look at the text field component. I think this is it. This is a text field, but actually I want to have like a multi-line text field. Can this do that? Multi-line. Aha, there you go. So if you, what is it? Multi-line, let's look at the code for this. So that will be a text field and then multi-line and then max rows 4. There you go. So we can actually just go ahead and implement it in our app directly. So we can go here and do import text field from Material UI. Oh, what is it? Always like do it like this. UI/text field, right? And then we are going to put here, we're going to do another question. So we can do another typography. Tell us how it went. Tell us how it went, right? Super simple. And then text field. And then what we want to do is do multi-line and then max rows. That's going to be, I guess, 4. And let's say if we have this here, what does that look like? There you go. You have a text field here, which you can do tuck, tuck, tuck. If I press enter, I can have tuck, tuck, tuck. There we go, up to 4 rows. And this max rows here doesn't actually prevent you from like creating more rows. It just prevents the component from expanding bigger than 4 rows of text visually. It's purely kind of a UI thing. Then what we want to do is we actually need a piece of state for this text field, right? Because we're going to want to hook this into this is disabled property so that it's no longer going to be just if rating value is equal to null. It's going to be if rating value is equal to null and if there is no value in our text. What are we going to call this? Comment, set comment. I'm just going to let Copilot take care of this for me. This is going to be of type string, and then we are going to do rating is disabled equals rating value or equals null, or as Copilot suggests, comment equals a string. So the form is going to be disabled if the rating value is of type null and if the comment is of an empty string. So if there's no rating or no comment, this form is going to be disabled. So that's fine. And then what we want to do is we want to pass this value comment, and then on change, I think, and that, let's see what actually Material UI tells us about this. On change, event object, it's going to get event.target.value, right? So this is just like your normal kind of HTML input element. So we're going to do E, and that's going to come here and do set comment e.target.value, right? So every time this changes, it is going to set, and then this value is now going to come from the state, which means that this is going to be a controlled component. So now, if I go back to the app and I rate something, right? Our form is still disabled because we haven't typed anything here. But as soon as I type something, right, there you go. It is now enabled. If I remove this, it is now disabled, right? We have a fully functional, although limited with a minimal set of features, working form using Material UI. And obviously, right, like you're free to kind of check this library out for yourself. They have a ton of components and there's a bunch of more things that you can use with Material UI. I'm not going to go into them too much in this video because the point was just to kind of play around with it and like set up a basic application. But you saw how easy it was to get a basic form running with React. We didn't have to do any of the work for like all of these stars. We didn't have to do any of the work for the styles of the input, right? When it's focused, when it's not focused, you see it has a different background color. When this is hovering, it's automatically built in, right? So if you're looking to just build an application with React easily and not have to worry about creating these components yourself, Material UI is a great library to do it with. So yeah, that was a brief look at Material UI. If you've enjoyed this video and you got some value from it, please make sure to leave it a big thumbs up and also subscribe because, as always, it really does help me out a lot. I cannot stress how much this actually helps, and it shows me that you enjoy my content and that you want more future videos. And also, this is a different type of video that I'm making. I'm really trying to try out different things and see what sticks and what doesn't, so expect more of this from me in the future. Again, if you haven't joined the Discord and you're interested in React or you're looking to learn about React, the Discord is the best resource that you're going to find on the internet right now for you. I post about things about React, tips, tricks, I answer questions, I review your code, I take in video requests, and I'm generally available to help you become a React developer and let you use me as a resource to make it faster for you to do that. So if you're interested, again, it is the first link in the description. I'm really pushing this hard, and I'm pushing this for a reason because I want you to become a React developer fast, efficient, and in the best way possible. So with that being said, my name has been Darius Kozin. This is Kozin Solutions. Thank you so much for watching. Really, thank you so much. It means the world, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.